Hi everyone, we come from Group 7 and we would like to present about Chapter 7, which is Performance Management. My name is Ipka Singh, metric numbers 2775570, and my group member Kuyan Ting 277824, Holly Chong Yun Fong 279861, and Ki Tong 277558. The learning objective of this chapter is 7.1 Discrete Performance Management, the performance appraisers and the performance appraisers process. 7.2 The use of performance appraisers and performance criteria. 7.3 Describe the choice of various performance appraisers method. 7.4 How to conduct the appraisers interview. What is performance management? Performance management is a corporate management tools that help manager monitor and evaluate employees' work. Performance management goes to create an environment where people can perform to the best of their abilities and to produce the highest quality work most efficient, efficiently and effective, effectively. Close relationship between incentive and performance. Performance management is a dynamic, ongoing, continuous process. Each part, each part of the system is integrated and linked for continuous organizational effectiveness. Performance appraisals. Performance appraisals is a regular reviews of an employee's job performance and overall contribution to a company. Also known as an annual reviews, performance reviews, or evaluation, or employee appraisals. A performance appraisals evaluate an employee's skill, achievements, and goals. Formal system of reviews and evaluation of individual or team task performance. The diagram shows the performance appraisals process. First, identify specific performance appraisals goal. Next, establish performance criteria and communicate them to employees. Next, examine work performance. Then appraise performance and discuss appraisals with employee. Use of performance appraisals. First, human resource planning. Secondly, training and development. Third, careers planning and development. Next, compensation programs. Then, internal employee relations. The last one is assessment of employee potential. Establish performance criteria standards. We have 5 things here, which is traits, behaviors, competency, goal achievement, improvement potential. Traits. Employee traits such as attitude, appearance, and initiative are basic for some evaluation, maybe unrelated to job performance or be difficult to define. Certain traits may relate to job performance. Behaviors. Organization may evaluate employees' task rate, behaviors, or competency. Examples are relationship style, developing others, teamwork and cooperation, or customer service orientation. If certain behaviors result in desired outcome, there is merit in using them in evaluation process.
Hi everyone, my name is Kuyan Ting. Today I would like to talk about subtopics related to competency in Chapter 7. Competencies is defined as ability to do something successfully and efficiently. Concept of competencies is value and attitude, behavior, and skill. Competencies include a broad range of knowledge, skill, traits, and behavior. They are needed to perform a job successfully. They may be technical in nature, business-oriented, or related to the internal personal skills, or are business-oriented. For example, analytic thinking might be essential in professional jobs. In leadership jobs should be tools that are closely associated with job success. Next, I would like to talk about goal achievement. It's organizational consider the end more important than means, then using only goals achievement as an outcome might be appropriate. The outcome established should be within the control of individual or team and should be those results that lead the firm's success. Next is improvement potential. Where organizations evaluate their employees' performance, the focus is often on the past. However, firms should also emphasize the development of behavior employees need to achieve the firm's goal. Should be emphasize the future and cannot change the past. Now I would like to talk about responsibility for performance appraisal. First is intermediate supervisor. Intermediate supervisors should keep track in the performance management process. Moreover, the employee should work toward achieve the individual goals. First and team members should solicit feedback and guidance on the performance from others to work in. We also got self-appraisal for performance appraisal and customer appraisal and the 360-degree feedback. The goal feedback is to describe desired behavior and expectation. Keep, keep, keeping record of self-performance achievement. Last, I would like to talk about performance appraisal system. Performance appraisal method fall into four categories: track system, comparison system, behavior system, and result-based system.
A very good morning to our lecturer and all my friends. My name is Polly Chong Yong Fong, metric number 279861, and I'll continue the presentation. The trade system is one of the performance appraisal method. Trade system asks raters to evaluate each employee's trait or characteristics such as quality of work, dependability, cooperation, initiative, responsibility, decision making, and etc. Appraisals are typically scored using descriptors ranging from unsatisfactory to outstanding. The trade approach does have limitations. Firstly, trade systems are highly subjective because they assume that every supervisor's perception of a given trait is the same. For example, the trait quality of work may be defined by one supervisor as the extent to which an employee's performance is free of errors, while for another supervisor, the quality of work might mean the extent to which an employee's performance is timely. Another drawback is that the system rates individuals on subjective personality factors rather than on objective job performance data. Employees may simply become defensive rather than trying to understand the role that the trait plays in shaping their job performance and then taking corrective actions. Moreover, traits represent a predisposition to behave, think, or feel. Although traits do influence behavior, these do not fully account on behavior. This figure illustrates the method used by the trade system for performance appraisal. Moving on to the next performance appraisal method, which is the comparison system. Comparison system evaluate one employee's performance against other employees. Employees are ranked from the best performer to the poorest performer. In simplest form, supervisors rank each employee and establish a performance hierarchy, which means that the employee with the best performance receives the highest ranking. Employees may be ranked on overall performance or on various traits. An alternative approach, called a force distribution method, and sometimes refers as stacked ranking system, assigns employees to groups that represent the entire range of performance. Using this approach, the rater must place a specific number of employees into each of the performance group. Many companies use force distribution approaches to minimize the tendency for supervisors to rate most employees as the excellent performers. Another comparative technique for ranking employees is the pair comparison method. Supervisors compare each employee to every other employee, identifying the best performer in each pair. The employees are ranked according to the number of times they were identified as being the better performer. Now, let us look closely to the force distribution system. The force distribution method requires the rater to assign individuals in a work group to a limited number of categories. The purpose is to keep managers from being excessively lenient or merciful for having a disproportionate number of employees in the superior category. Force distribution have drawbacks too. The force distribution approach can distort ratings because employees' performance may not fall into these predetermined distributions. Let us look at the example and assume that supervisor must use the following force distribution to rate the employee's performance. 15% well below average, 20% below average, 35% average, 20% above average, 10% well above average or superior. This distribution is problematic to the extent that the actual distribution of employee performance would be different from this forced distribution. If 35% of the employees' performance were either above average or superior, then the supervisor would be required to underrate the performance of 15% of the employees. Based on this forced distribution, the supervisor can rate only 30% of the employees as having demonstrated above average or well above average job performance. Management-employee relationships ultimately suffer because workers feel that ratings are dictated by unreal models rather than by individual performance. The forced distribution system appears to be unpopular with many managers. Some of them believe it fosters intense competition and destroys employees' loyalty. Besides, forced distribution is not compatible when a company encourages teamwork. In addition, the forced nature of this system compel or force the managers to penalize and place some employees in an undeservedly lower rating category. Another reason employees are opposed to forced ranking is that they suspect the rankings are a way of companies to rationalize firing more easily. Now, moving on to the next slide, which is the pair comparison system. Pair comparison is a variation of the ranking method in which the performance of each employee is compared with that of every other employee in the group. The employee who received the greatest number of favorable comparisons received the highest ranking. Comparative methods are best suited for small group of employees who perform the similar jobs. They are cumbersome for large groups of employees or for employees who perform different jobs. For example, it will be difficult to judge whether a production worker's performance is better than a secretary's performance because the jobs are substantially different. Just like other trade systems, comparison approaches have limitations. They tend to encourage subjective judgments, which increase the chance of radar errors and bias. That's all from me. I'll pass it to my next group member. Thank you.
Good afternoon, my name is Keita. So now I will continue to explain the behavioral systems. Behavioral system rates attention to each employee. It displays successful job performance behaviors. So here are the three main types of behavioral systems. The first one is critical incident technique, behaviorally anchor rating skills, and the last one is behavioral observation skills. So critical incident technique requires to keep record of the highly favorable and unfavorable employee work actions. Example, they need to identify the performance on the job behaviors and behavioral outcomes. Supervisor usually rates employees on how often they display the behaviors described in each critical incident. So here's the example figure 7.5, a critical incident performance appraisal rating form. Okay, next. Okay, so behaviorally anchored rating scales combines elements of the traditional rating scale and critical incident methods. Various performance levels are shown along a scale with each described with employee-specific job behavior. So we can refer to the table 7.1. From the left side is the standard performance and the right side is about the employee's specific job behaviors. Okay. In behavioral observation skills is similar to bars in development. Compared to bars, both focuses exclusively on positive performance behaviors, appropriate for jobs that require observable behaviors, requires observations of job behaviors on a regular basis. Results-based systems focuses on measurable outcomes such as sales, accident rates, and productivity. For example, management by objective MBO is used mainly for managerial and professional employees and typically evaluate employees' progress towards strategic planning objectives, while work standard methods compares with each employee's performance in a predetermined standard or expected level of output. The work standard method is usually coupled with an incentive pay plan known as the PACE work plan. So here's the examples of the PACE work. Okay.
Now I would like to talk about problems in performance appraisal, which is appraisal discomfort. Some managers have always located the time on paperwork and difficult choice that discomfort their employee. Bias error happen when the rating evaluated the employee based on personal negative or positive opinions of employee rather than on employee actual performance. A manager biased by a first impression effect might make an essential favorable or unfavorable judgment about an employee. Halo effect refer to positive halo effect, while negative halo refer to horn effect. Similar to me effect refer to tendency on the part of leader to judge favorable employee. Next, I would like to talk about problem in performance appraisal. Supervisor make contrast error when they compare an employee with other employee rather than to specific performance standards, such as comparison qualified as error because other employees are required to perform only at minimum acceptable standard. Central Dishonesty is an error that occurs when employees are incorrect ranked near the middle of a skill. This practice may be encouraged by some systems that require to evaluate to justice in writing and any extremely high or low ranking. Giving undesigned high ranking to an employee is referred to the incentive. So problem in performer appreciate includes contrast error, error of central tendencies, and error of relative of prisoner. It also includes employer anxiety. Now I would like to talk about characteristics of effective appraisal system. First is reliability and validity. The basic purpose of a performance appraisal system is to improve the performance of individual teams and entire organizations. Reliability refers to the extent to which a method provides consistent results. Validity is the extent to which a test measures what it claims to measure. Job-related criteria is the most basic criteria that need in employee performance appraisal. Manager and subordinate must agree on performance expectation in advance of the appraisal period. If employees clearly understand the expectation, they can evaluate their own performance and make adjustments as they perform their job. First should be use stand evaluation, instrument, and procedure for all employees in the same job category who works for the same supervisor. A common tendency in appraisal system is that the evaluator often receives training on how to conduct effective evaluation. Unless everyone evaluating performance receives training in the art of giving and receiving feedback, the process can lead to uncertainty and conflict. Last, I would like to talk about appraisal interview. The appraisal interview is often the axillary heel of entire evaluation process. This process is a weakest point of the entire evaluation process. To minimize the possibility of pop-filling, the face-to-face meeting and the written review must have performance improvement, not citizens as their goal. Supervisors usually conduct a performance appraisal interview at the end of an employee appraisal period. It should be made clear to the employee as to what the meeting is about. Employees typically know when their interview should be take place, and their anxiety tends to increase if their supervisor delays the meeting. So we should focus on interview structure and scheduling the interview. A success appraisal interview should be structured in a way that allows both the supervisor and employee to view it as a problem-solving rather than a fault-finding season. The manager has several support when planning and appraisal interview. The employee performance should be discussed focused on specific accomplishments. Also, the employee should be active in setting goals and performance development plan for the next appraisal period. Conducting an appraisal interview requires tact and patience on the part of the evaluator. Price is appraisal when warranted but should be not given if it is not designed. That's all. Thank you.